Okay, good morning, folks. I hope you're doing well this morning. Today is the 13th of November, 2025. This is the radar loop in the same frame as like the satellite loop that we normally look at. And you can see where the most precip is ongoing right here on the west coast. And some moisture streaming across the lakes here. And it looks like, from what I'm seeing, that um, it's mostly rain. Um, so looking at the radar again, you can see that streaming off the lakes there along the west coast. Other than that, the rest of the nation is make sure I get my pen going here. All right, the rest of the nation is dry right now. Okay, switching back to the water vapor loop real quickly. Kind of interesting, high clouds streaming over the some lit provided by the Appalachians, high clouds right over the Mid-Atlantic southeast. Looks like a jet streak right there. Pretty interesting feature. And along the west coast there. So really bookends as far as moisture goes. And overall, pretty quiet pattern right now. So here's the radar from the WeatherWise app. This is the composite and the radar sites overlaid on top of another with the fronts here. You can see low off the coast here, a couple different lows off the coast, some stationary boundaries going through the middle of the U.S., and that stream of moisture over the Great Lakes. We switch to just regular radar. See what I'm talking about here? Looks like mostly rain here. Yeah. So, and along the west coast, of course, um, rain showers, heavy rain. Switching back to this, we know this is rain out there. So this is the whole nation, just satellite loop moisture and just a lot of rainfall on the west coast. That's going to persist for the coming days. So and it's going to be a very progressive pattern moving forward with systems generally moving like this. So that favors warmer temps for the east, right? And maybe cooler temps down in here. Yesterday there was more indication we might have a deeper trough across the eastern U.S., but it looks like that's changing some in the latest model guidance. I'll go over that next as part of the forecast as well. Okay, as far as current temps, we have generally 60s into the deep south into Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, 40s and 30s for the rest of the nation. You see up here in the northeast, above freezing in this whole area except for maybe right here and in the northern high plains, in the Rocky Mountains as well. Desert Southwest, quite warm here. Okay. Temperature change from yesterday. A little bit cooler here in the Ohio Valley than yesterday, and into the northern high plains in the Midwest, upper Midwest, but warmer than normal for pretty much warmer than yesterday and pretty much the rest of the country except for maybe in Texas some. But overall, it's warmed up quite even more compared to yesterday in the deep south. Okay. Um, cloud cover. Let me see, refresh this, make sure it's at 4 a.m. I'd like to show people this because it's a good indication of what's going on. Although we looked at the satellite loop, we kind of know that. But of course, on the west coast, we have a lot of clouds with the rainfall, some high clouds in the high to mid-level clouds out here in the Central Plains and in the Northeast, right? So whenever we have clouds around, it tends to mitigate temperatures at the surface because of lack of radiational cooling and moisture and things like that. Even have more moisture in the atmosphere, not going to cool down as much. Wind gusts, winds aren't too bad right now, except right along the west coast here, with that system coming on shore along the Great Lakes and offshore the east coast here, and some areas in the mountains and in the northern plains and in the Appalachians. 24-hour snow accumulation as of 7 p.m. yesterday. Just some light snow amounts. Move this up a little bit. Light snow amounts up here into the eastern Great Lakes. Maybe a little bit of snow up here into the north. Not much really, just minimal amounts. Okay, so going on to the forecast here. This is 500 millibar heights. No, sorry, 500 millibar vorticity, right? Mid-level vorticity, as modeled by the European. This is as of 7 a.m., okay? That moves the system off the west coast. Generally, northerly, northwesterly flow along the east coast there, on the northeast coast, right? On the northeast, excuse me. I'm trying to move this out of the way, but can't. Bugging me. You can't see it, but there's some controls down there that are in the way of me looking at stuff. Anyway, that moves on shore on the west coast. Kind of just hangs out there and really de-amplifies. It's been trending more and more to the west every time I look at it. A few days ago it was more going like this, but now it's kind of just de-amplifying, and we'll go through a little bit more and see what happens here. But yeah, it gets absorbed into the larger flow. And you see what happens here. You have high pressure building along the east of the Rockies with looks like a low pressure, another low pressure, Aleutian low. There, this deep trough swings through, and this moisture feed. Let me move this over so you can see way from the deep tropics here. That's pretty crazy. Subtropical jet, maybe, right? So it's crazy, the connection there, isn't it? Anyway, see how it moves up into the north here? The flow is generally this way, you know? So keeps going. This next system pretty much takes the same path, right? And we can look at 500 millibars as generally the mid-level flow and helps us determine what features are going to be at the surface. So this is getting pretty far out, the 23rd, 10 days from now, okay? So what does this tell us? If this holds up, really, there's not a lot of cold air to the east of the Rockies, and you can see a deep low forecast to develop here out west, right? High pressure really building in the east of the Rockies. Looks like it cuts off, about to, and really the flow is just really kind of crazy here. Have another high pressure. Whoops. Another high pressure up here. Flow around this way. Warm temperatures, guys. So this is through almost the end of the month, so you know that pretty progressive pattern, although it gets a little stagnant towards the end there. At the surface, let's do a surface analysis here. Let's go to the 16th, or we'll go back a little bit. Let's see, 13th. Move through the flow here. On the west coast, we have precip. Let's move this back over down here. All right. And you have a flow in the northeast from the northwest a little bit. Okay. Back this up a little bit here. Mostly rain for most of the northeast, although maybe some snow in the northern portions of the northeast here to Maine. The system swings around. Right, and you have high pressure building out west here. And eventually you may get a surface low form to the east of the Rockies. Right, and that very warm for the most of this system here. It's where we had snow from the last event. It's gonna be mostly rain, looks like. This is on the 20th, so 7 days from now. Intermountain West might get on some snow, and they get on the West Coast some rain with maybe a weak system moving in. This system really gets going up here and moves up into Canada. And you have the next surface low development with that trough we talked about. Pretty much takes the same path as the other one, but you can see not a lot of snow with this either. Moves up into Canada. You have another system moving over the Rockies, right? And this is towards the end of the period, but this high pressure down here is going to promote just prevent systems from making the south, and maybe just have system just go generally this way, you know. So sorry for you guys in the Rockies. The other day we were looking at possibility of snow there, but doesn't look too good right now. Sorry, but you know, it is what it is. Now that's it's quite a ways out. That's towards the end of the month, so things could change, of course. So not a forecast, just going over what I think is the most reliable model guidance. So you could spend all day going over different models, but just want to show you generally what the thinking is here. So what's this going to mean as far as temps go, right? This is the National Weather Service forecast temperatures. So ending today at 7 p.m. Look at this, 70s, 80s, 50s, 60s. Only cold air is up here in the northeast, right? And this morning, you know, we know what the temps are. Generally 20s and 30s in the northern tier of the U.S. Rest of the nation, 40, 50, and 60s. Tomorrow, look how warm it's going to be. Ugh. Almost 90 here in Texas. Tomorrow, 7 a.m. Getting quite warm here in the middle part of the country. Cooling off a little bit in the northeast, near freezing. And Saturday, can't believe it's almost a weekend already. Anyway, I'm going to get more coffee here. 70s, 80s, and maybe in the northern tier, cooling off a little bit. But geez, man, I'm telling you, thought we were going to get winter there for a little bit. If you live up north, you may not think that, but this is not too bad. Saturday morning, temperatures in the 30s and 20s, right? And then the max temps again bisect the country. Even the Intermountain West is pretty warm, right? Not a lot of cold air here. You can see where the coolest temps are on Sunday. Forecast to be on Sunday. Maybe cooling off a little bit down, further down to the south. Mountain west, maybe cooling off a little bit. Next Monday, the cooler air maybe pushes a little further south, but yeah, I mean it cools off a little bit in the nation overnight. 7 a.m. Monday, you wake up with temperatures in the 20s in northern high plains, but overall not that cold. Again, 30s up to the north here, 80s down in the south. Rinse and repeat, guys. Tuesday morning forecast to still be in relatively chilly, but not overly cold here. Some temperatures in the teens up here in the northern high plains. And you get a little further out. This is Wednesday. Wednesday. The cooler temps, max temps push a little further south, but you can see the general pattern favors warmer temps down here, right? And cooler temps up here, but not brutal, right? Now, what does that look like for departure from average? Okay, let's take a look at that. Greens, warmer than average with the numbers denoting how far above or below average they are. See what happens here. The warmer temps out west, a little bit cooler than average in the east. You see the warmer than average temps move further east and maybe get pushed down to the south a little bit, and then the northeast maybe be a little bit below normal. You can see towards the middle of the period here, right? Maybe a CAD wedge here along the east coast. Maybe a front try to push through, but doesn't quite make it. Intermountain West is cooler than normal for sure. Along the west, because of the way the flow pattern is, right? We talked about the flow being generally this way, right? So cooler temps here, warmer temps here. Oh, moving through time. That pattern just is stuck in there, guys. Yeah. So yeah. Out west, you're getting in on the colder air, that's for sure. But in the east, you're gonna be roasting. So as far as expected snowfall in the coming days, this is a different way to look at it. This is a probabilistic precipitation portal. You can see where the most snowfall expected, maybe some light amounts here into the northeast and in the west here. Although it's really up in the mountains here, there's a lot going on, so this is not unexpected, right? So maybe up here we'll get a little bit touches of snow here. A couple in the higher terrain of Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and parts of New York. Mostly in the northwest, though, right? With this northerly flow up here, northwesterly flow, that's what's driving that, and the system's coming into the west here, right? So now I'm going to go through the total precip. This includes snow and rain expected amounts. So see where the highest precip totals are supposed to be here, mostly in California, the northwest coast, into the northeast, northern Great Lakes, right? This is 24-hour accumulation, right, between each period. See the highest amounts move into the mountains of California, parts of Montana and Idaho, and some in the northeast here, but excuse me, just the west is just really in on it, right? That moves further south into Southern California here by the weekend, right? So as we talked about, the south is the northwest and western U.S. is getting in on it. Lee side of the Great Lakes, maybe maybe some snow potentially, probably rain, and maybe a little bit here in West Virginia. Bone dry down here in the south. Just getting really hammered here into Southern California, which they probably need the rain. So, yeah. Next, we're going to go over the excessive rainfall outlook, severe weather outlook, and the 6 to 10 day and 8 to 14 precip outlook, temperature outlook. As far as excessive rainfall, you see the highest amounts are expected with flooding risk, a slight 50% chance of reaching of flash flood criteria within 25 miles of a point. Marginal risk in the green areas. We talked about that. It swings further south here and to the northwest into Washington State. And you can see where the slight risk is, where that bullseye precip was we talked about a minute ago. Day 5, 4, and 5. Again, you have a little marginal risk. Day 5 here. This is the 17th through the 18th, which is Monday through Tuesday. I'm on the West Coast again. Severe weather. Let's go to day 1 here. Come on. What? All right. Day 1. General thunderstorms on the West Coast with that system coming on shore. Day 2. Same thing. And we have maybe a trough because of the trough swinging through here in the east. We got a marginal risk of severe weather. Probably a wind risk more than anything right there. So, yeah, let's see if we got anything else. I doubt we got anything else for the rest of the period, but yeah. So, not a lot of confidence in severe weather after that. As far as the U.S. hazards outlook, heavy precip is possible here in the deep south into the lower Mississippi Valley. And this is echoed by the precip potential risk, moderate risk here in that area with a slight risk to the north, 20th through the 23rd, and the 20th closer to the coast, and here in the desert southwest. Snow, slight risk of heavy snow with those systems move through the west there. Wind, with these systems moving through, you're going to may potential of high winds on the boundaries, especially here. Slight risk in these areas. Temperature, no hazardous temperatures expected, either high or below. And this is a 6 to 10 day outlook, okay? We see where the warmer temps are supposed to be. This was issued the 10th of November. Let me see if I can get a more recent one. Here we go. November 12th. Yeah, near normal. Temperatures expected. The northeast, of course, out west with that cloud cover precip, cooler than normal. And you see where the above normal temps will probably be. And we talked about where the highest precip amounts are going to be, and that's still going to be the rule here out west, right? High probability of above normal precip, especially down in the desert southwest, Alaska, Hawaii as well. So interesting. Temperatures, we talked about this, above normal, most likely have a good probability of being above normal to the east of the Rockies, okay? I'm not to sneeze, guys, so Gotta finish this up. So maybe we get higher precip amounts further east as we go through time. And that was kind of talked about in the risk hazards here. Maybe some heavy rain here uh, in this area. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like and subscribe, and if you want to, of course, and I appreciate all the support. Have a great day.